Cortez Mac. I'm here with Grvndmvster Wvve. It's been a long time coming. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling great, man.
Yo, I definitely appreciate you making time, especially with everything that's going on in the world. Let's first check in. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I mean, things are a little crazy. The quarantine at first kind of threw me out of whack. I like to stay in motion.
Yeah.
Because when I stop, sometimes I sit there for a little while.
I feel you.
So it threw my energy off a little bit, but it was needed. I think it was needed for everybody.
Yeah, like a reset.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess. So, what were some of your goals coming out of that reset mode?
Well, really, I was focusing more on personal goals. So I was focusing more on my health, getting back on exercising, getting the proper amount of sleep, and then just building, I'm a firm believer in building off life experience for your music.
Oh, yeah.
My music is content heavy and I put a lot of thought into it.
Okay.
So I need something to pull off.
Yeah.
So I like to step back for a little while and just live life. So then I got material to draw from.
Dope. So I guess a good place to start, especially for people who are watching this that are going, really get to know you through this, and then go into your music after this. Where would you say your relationship with music started?
I've always loved music. My family's big into music. I'm from New Jersey, so they were big into club music, house music, all that. So I grew up listening to that, and just came up and really got to see. I was born in '90, and so I got to grow up during the '90s and the early 2000s.
That's the best
really
time to grow up.
Feel all the waves, when they were there. When you're older, it's kind of outside looking in sometimes with the younger generation's music. Yeah. But I was at the age where it was perfect. Yeah. So I got to experience a whole lot of stuff. Yeah. So I've always loved music since I was young, man. I was always burning CDs. I was getting CDs for Christmas. Tapes. I had a tape player and tapes.
So for all my 90s babies watching this, you know that he was preaching, I'm about to preach. We grew up in the best era for music. Like, if you're a music head, if you grew up in the 90s, you have to love music. So who are some of your, and the 2000s, like, they go together perfectly. Who are some of your biggest, influences from growing up?
My number one biggest influence was Lupe Fiasco.
Okay.
Truthfully.
Okay. Wow.
I love Lupe. Pharrell. Nas. I listened to a lot of Nas. Nas was actually the first album I owned.
Illmatic. Okay.
Yeah. My mom bought me this hit.
Dope.
And so love Nas. Grew up with Jay-Z, and I was up north, so it was just a wave. And more current Kendrick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody at Top Dog. It's a lot of people out here. It's hard to, because I'm influenced by everything I hear.
Yeah.
I soak it all in. But, that's kind of top 5 almost.
Okay. Lupe. I feel like he's kind of underrated in terms of, like, conversations like this. Yeah. So to hear you name him, yeah, that's dope. If you had to, a Lupe song, a karaoke song, what would yours be, your go-to? Word for word.
Probably Go Watch.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Probably Go Watch. And I can't even say I know the whole thing word for word. I know the first verse and the chorus.
Okay.
And most of the second verse to make it work.
Okay, that's enough. The crowd will be with you.
If I can see the words, then it's over.
It's over with.
I know the song.
Full on performance.
I mean? Yeah.
I feel you. That's dope. All right, so we got some of your influences. So when did you officially, make your way? When did you decide, this is what you were going to pursue and do?
So I'll just start from the beginning. Like, I started writing when I was in 11th grade. Right? I started writing. I had a English teacher named Miss Parr. Shout out to Miss Parr.
Shout out to her.
She used to have these things called. She made us write every class period, but she also had these things once a month called burnouts.
Yeah.
Where based on the topic, you had to prepare a piece and share it with the class.
I love it.
So, doing the first one I ever wrote, it was my first time ever trying to write anything structured, poetic, anything like that.
Yeah.
So I just wrote whatever, and the class went kind of crazy over it. And she was like, "You got a talent." I ended up interning in something. It got published. I was broke back then, it was just me and my mom, so we couldn't even buy the book, but they got published.
Yeah.
Somewhere. But that's how I got into writing. But I didn't want to rap. Like, like I was always like, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing, yada yada. I was a smart kid in high school. I ended up going to Georgia Tech for college for a while.
What'd you go for?
And, mechanical engineering.
Oh shit, you are smart as fuck. Yo.
Mechanical engineering, and then I added on some computational media towards the end. But then binary ran out. So you know how that goes.
It got real.
It got real. So, but when I was 19 years old, hanging with my friends during the summer, and one of them was just like, "Yo, let's freestyle," and we all like, "Nah, man, we ain't trying to freestyle. We don't even do that." And this is like my homeboy and me and the other two members in Visibly and Flight collective. I'm also with. Shout out to Zeus and Sun. But we just started freestyling for the fuck of it, and it was silly as hell. You know, it sucked, but we started loving it. We was just doing it every day. Then we was like, shit, let's write some verses. So we started writing verses to beats, and then we like, shit, let's get some equipment and make some songs. So we started doing that, and then we started performing, and the rest is history.
And then all just went from there.
Shout out to Jamie Cornelia too. She was a super huge catalyst in all of that.
Yeah. Video, like does videos, right?
Jamie's just an all-around artist.
Oh
like,
wow.
When I met Jamie, actually when I met her, she did videography. She was making beats.
Okay.
She skated. You know, she had been, you know, shooting shows and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
And she just started out rapping. And it's funny because the first song she wrote, we really wrote together, and it was amazing. You know what I mean? Like her verse was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, just natural talent. And so she was a part of Visibly for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we split ways more or less, but that's my sister.
That's dope. Yeah. I didn't know she did all of that. Like,
yeah,
I
she
knew
does all
the
that. She's an artist.
piece.
You should listen to her music, bro. You would be blown away. Yeah.
Shout out to Jamie Cornelia.
Yeah, she's doing everything. Yeah. I gotta shout her out.
Definitely checking you out after this. So, from I guess a good place to talk about now would be kind of the group, and then your kind of evolution into doing some solo stuff. So you said you guys kind of split, you know, to I guess do some separate stuff, or
no, that's not even what I meant. Like Jamie split off. So the way it is like Visibly in Flight was always supposed to be a collective.
Okay.
Our motto was after TDE. We liked how they moved, like where you kind of consider them a group, but they all do solo stuff.
Gotcha.
So that's how we attacked it from the onset.
Okay.
You know, we all dropped solo projects, solo albums, always had solo stuff, did some group stuff together, performed together, but we had solo stuff. And like literally, I've been, you know, my brothers from Visibly in Flight, I've known them since I was young, but we just dropped our first group project last year.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of last year too, like Christmas or something.
So recent. Okay.
Yeah, super recent. So, and it was cool because it was like, we did it kind of backwards. Instead of like group breaking up, it was like, you know, we were moving solo but together, and then we piled all of that.
That's dope.
And the project came out really dope. I'll shoot you the link for that one too. You'll like it.
Please do.
Because it's totally different than my solo stuff. All of our solo stuff is totally different from the group stuff. And it's just cool as shit that it's all differentiated like that.
I like that. So, do you feel like you guys are more effective when y'all come together because y'all have that individual momentum going?
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I had to like really process what you were saying. So, like the analogy we used to use in the meetings we were having when we first started getting serious was, you know, we want to be like, you know, a building with columns, you need a strong foundation. So for each solid column, when we build a platform on top, it's going to be that much stronger and hold that much longer. So we just try to focus on building ourselves as solo artists and doing stuff for ourselves, so we wouldn't be reliant on the group aspect of it. And I'm glad for it.
I think, that's definitely.
It makes us strong, you know what I mean? We can all go out and do solo shows and be fun.
Man, I love that. Man. I think that if more groups or more collective, like if more people looked at things as a collective, then they would kind of have more longevity. Ego doesn't get in the way.
Yep.
Y'all mutually support each other. You definitely see that on social media, so that's dope. One thing that you have brought up through a few of the last things we talked about was performing. So how would you say you've been, like, are you anxious to get back on stage after everything, the pandemic kind of, things kind of lifting, are you ready to get back on stage? Or you kind of still like?
I mean, it's weird, man, but like I'm always ready to get on stage. Like it's funny because with music, one of the reasons, like I meant to add this earlier on, but like when I used to say I didn't want to be a rapper, it was interesting because I used to daydream about it since I was young. You know what I mean? When I listened to music, I imagine myself performing all of that. But I would always be like, I can't do that. You know, I'm too shy to do that. Blah, blah, blah. Started performing and doing it a lot, to where you get comfortable doing it, and it's like my favorite part about music now.
Is performing?
Yeah, I love it. It's like a drug. You know what I mean? So like, I'm always down. I'm always with it. So I wouldn't say there's any anxiety associated with it. It's just like when it comes, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna feel good. And that's just what it is.
Love it. Story time. Tell us about your first performance ever.
Oh shit.
First performance ever, y'all.
It's funny because me and Jamie had a little back and forth argument about this, but I feel like I'm right. I know I'm right. So it was actually a Jamie show at this little coffee bar. It's over there by Georgia Tech too, ironically enough, because I hadn't even been going to school for a little while by this point. It's a cafe bar, and we went and did a show over there, and it's funny because I wasn't that nervous.
For your first show?
Yeah, for the first show, and it was like a coffee house joint, so like when we got there, they didn't have a thing to plug the music, none of that, so like we just acapella'd the song. Like at first I thought we wasn't gonna perform the way I was looking, but then Jaylee like looked at me and she like, shit, you want to just acapella? And I'm like, yeah, let's just spit, it's whatever. You know what I mean? So we did it, and the people was fucking with it, and I had a great time. It felt beautiful, all of that. And then my very next show was like 3 or 4 days later, cause off that show we got a show at Apache.
Okay.
That was like the next week, and we considered that a bigger show.
Yeah.
So we like, yo, we need to train. So we like, shit, they have an open mic at the same coffee bar this Wednesday. Let's go out there, practice, and then boom. And when we went out there to practice, I smoked before.
Oh shit.
And that's when I learned not to smoke. That's when I stopped smoking before I performed. I was nervous as shit. I had caramel. I mean, I did my thing. People said, blah, 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 whatever, but I was nervous and all that. And I started noticing, like, I would be nervous if I smoked because I overthink. Performance is one of those things you want to let go and just do it.
Damn.
You could tell when people are thinking on stage.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure when you watch. Yeah, especially people who like appreciate the live performance part. Yeah, you reading them while they perform.
For sure.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Cortez Mac, and I appreciate you watching my videos. Please make sure that you subscribe before you go. Do whatever you finna do. Make sure that you like my ish, man. Like my stuff. Subscribe to my channel. It's Cortez Mac TV. Beauty ways.